What's up, nerds? So today I'm going to sit down with my friend Ben over here, and we are going to talk about the DCEU projects coming forward, movies that are coming forward. We're going to have like a wish list kind of thing at the end, and we're just going to talk about the DCEU as it stands as a whole. But before we get started on that, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small YouTube channels like myself usually get pushed to the back of the line, like my microphone. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So why don't we get started on this conversation? So Ben, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. I'm very happy to be here, and I want to say hi to all of your viewers.
Awesome.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
so
me
much
on.
for that. So why don't we just jump right into this? And the first thing I want to talk to you about is Wonder Woman 1984 and your thoughts about that. What did you think about this movie?
Um, First off, let it be known that the first Wonder Woman film, when it came out, was my favorite superhero film for years. Like up until about last month, until I rewatched Batman v Superman, and that tipped it off like a bit. But the first Wonder Woman film is incredible, in my opinion. It's one of my favorite films ever. I really do love it.
I
So
agree.
naturally enough, it's amazing. Naturally enough, I was really excited for this film, and potentially there's some great stuff. There is some seeds in there, some threads that if you pull at them, you could get a good movie. But not only do I think that it has one of the worst scripts of the year, like I don't watch stuff like Artemis Fowl. I don't go out of my way to see those really bad movies. So
Right.
when it comes to the films that I did see, Wonder Woman 84 had probably the worst script of them all. That and Mulan. But Wonder Woman 84 takes the cake, but I also think it's one of the worst scripts in terms of superhero films ever, because I'm going to get into the cartoonish tone and how I don't think it worked, but I really just think that the script itself, the fact that this superhero film, this massive sequel is based around a wishing stone, I thought let the film down in a huge
Oh,
way.
I preach it. Preach it.
Mm. It was so disappointing. So that's just the script, because I know we want to just touch on this briefly, so I'll move on to bad cinematography and VFX. Cartoonishly bad. This movie cost $200 million. It looks like it cost 75.
I
It
agree.
was really poor. Unfortunately, when I saw it in IMAX, I didn't notice it that much.
Oh, right
So
on.
I thought it was good. And then we ended up nominating it at the Council podcast for Best Visual Effects, because I was the only one who had seen it. I was like, yeah, guys, they're great. And then I saw it in a regular cinema, and
Right on.
I realized. Um, Cartoonishly
Before you
awkward.
go on, can I just say if you guys want to listen to Ben, he is on a podcast called The Council. I will leave all the links in the description down below. Sorry, Ben, I didn't
I'm
mean to
not.
interrupt you.
No, you were on that too, weren't you?
I was a guest on there. It was super fun. You guys are great. I love that podcast.
I just said that overall, I thought it was cartoonishly awkward with its acting, and the tone. I thought it just didn't work. I understand what she was trying to do, Superman 1978. I get that, but it just didn't work. When it comes to the stuff I thought were actually very good, Kristen Wiig and Gal Gadot I thought were phenomenal. In particular, the jogging scene, the
Right
second time
on.
around,
Yeah.
kind of like the birth of the cheetah. I thought that was just incredible. One of my favorite scenes of the year. That scene was just so good. Everything else is the score, pretty good. I thought it was solid enough, and it definitely did in certain scenes when Diana flies. Definitely got the chills down your spine. You know, it really did have a good effect. So the
Right on.
score, and then Diana as a character, I really love.
For
But
sure.
that's it. Overall, Wonder Woman 84 is just a sour disappointment. That I'll get when I talk about Wonder Woman 3 later. I'll mention this, but I think stuff really needs to change for the third film.
I agree. I agree 100%. And we will talk about the third film a little bit later. So now I want to jump over to the Snyder Cut. I know that you're excited about the Snyder Cut. I'm excited about the Snyder Cut. Oh, for sure. Oh, that's such a good shirt. I should buy that. The thing is awesome.
So
Um,
cool.
yeah, it's so cool. I really am excited for this, and I'm happy to see that Zack Snyder gets to see his vision up on a screen. He just got to finish it. So I wanted to talk to you about this movie, but first, can you just share your overall thoughts about this movie coming out?
Well, I couldn't be happier, because I am someone who has been on the Snyder Cut train since it like 2017, like
Right
all the way
on.
back then. Zack Snyder's films, BVS in particular, are what got me into DC, and DC is what got me into movies. So I owe a great amount of debt to him and his first two films, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, that's what got me into movies. So when Justice League was coming out, I was really excited. So even though he had stepped away and there were reshoots and it was cut down to 2 hours, I still remained positive. But then I
Right
saw the
on.
film and I couldn't be positive anymore. It just really, you know what that movie's like. It's soul crushing to watch and it's
I agree. Yeah.
indescribable. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So I am looking forward to some of the things I'm looking forward to in this movie. I'm so like I campaigned. I was one of from the November 17th, the 2 year anniversary, which was apparently the day that got people's attention at WB that day. It was such a great day. And
Right
then
on.
also when the film came out, it was when it was announced at the Man of Steel watch along. Just one of the best days of my life. Truly, like I was so happy. So I'm really looking forward to having a Zack Snyder tone again in a DC film. I think it's sorely missed. There's kind of glimpses of Zack Snyder's tones in Aquaman, I like a little bit with like just sort of the aesthetic on Earth. I thought you could kind of get a little bit of a glimpse of Zack Snyder's world, but it wasn't there overall. And I'm also looking forward to seeing Ben Affleck's Batman and Ray Fisher's Cyborg. Zack
Right
Snyder's
on.
Justice League is essentially my Avengers Endgame because I've been on this train forever, so I just can't wait.
Right on. So you answered my first question of what are you most looking forward to? Personally, I'm looking forward to Ben Affleck's Batman. I enjoy Ben Affleck as Batman. I thought he did a good job. I know a lot of people are on his case about it, but I'm all like, I thought he did pretty good. I mean, I enjoyed
Mm.
it. Also, I'm surprisingly excited for Jared Leto's Joker. I didn't think I mean, like, first off, I didn't know he was going to be in it. And then when we found out he was, I was all like, shut up. So I'm actually excited about that because when I watched Suicide Squad, I was like, I really don't like it, but at the same time, I don't know if I can blame Jared Leto for that because, he really wasn't given a chance. So I'm like, hopefully he gets another chance besides his, cameo in Snyder Cut. So moving on to my second question, because you had mentioned him, how do you feel about the Ray Fisher situation with Cyborg?
I stand with Ray Fisher forever and always. Not only do I believe him, the investigation has, we saw Joss Whedon stepped away from the Nevers.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously they found something, and they
Right,
obviously can't release it all because they're still working with these people
right,
in a professional manner. But I still stand with him. I think he's correct. And over the summer, all the studios said that they stand in solidarity with Black voices in response to the Black Lives Matter movement. Yet here is a man who is unheard and is being blatantly ignored for his truth, and they're not standing with him. They're not standing in solidarity with him. So I find it really greatly disappointing the lack of respect he's receiving from not only the studio, like that's one thing, but the media who are enabling it. You see all the rap headlines and the variety headlines that word things in a certain way that are negative towards Fisher. The Frosty the Snowman thing when he stepped out, when he came out initially, and then the Ben Affleck coming back for The Flash came out when he made another claim back in August. So you can see how very clearly orchestrated it is. But I truly do hope that he gets justice, and I think he will.
right on. Do you think at any point in time that maybe he made a mistake speaking up? Like maybe he's heard his chances on other movies and other networks because they might be like, oh, hey, if he stubs his toe, he's going to complain on set.
That's, I think, what people have always done for so long when it comes to speaking out against harassment in Hollywood. That was the whole thing with the Me Too movement, was that, you should have a cushion to fall back on. This is one of the things I took from it anyway, was that if you speak out against a toxic work environment, you should have a cushion to fall back on after speaking your truth. And I think that if it does hurt him, that will just go to show how Hollywood has not learned from their mistakes,
Right
and
on.
they'll continue to be hurt by their mistakes, because that would just be a horrible, horrible thing.
Right on. Plus, I think it says a lot to the on-set environment because, like, if I was in a movie and like it depends on what it is, but like for instance, Gal Gadot didn't want to do the scene where the Flash is in her boobs and everything, and I'm all like, if she doesn't want to do it, don't do it. Like you can't. You're telling me you went to school for writing and you can't write a different scene that's like semi-funny, like. You like, come on, where are we like you guys make movies for a living and you can't make up something completely different that the actress or actor will be comfortable with. I don't understand that thought process. So,
And to think that Godot was coming off of Wonder Woman,
yeah,
she was becoming a superstar, and they still wouldn't listen to her. Well, Joss Whedon still would not listen to her. It's insane. But you know what? We don't need to focus on that anymore because Joss Whedon was likely
right.
not going to work again for a while.
Absolutely.
And Zack Snyder has not only Army of the Dead, but he has his Snyder Cut. And, I'm
Yeah.
going to talk about the Snyderverse later on in my wish list.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Zack Snyder will continue to work for a very long time.
So for my next question about the Snyder Cut is, so recently Walter Hamada did an interview in the New York Times, and he said that there was going to be no more Snyder Cut content after the Snyder Cut. How do you feel about, and I'm paraphrasing all of this. You can go, I will leave a link in the description down below, everybody, in case you want to read that article. It's very interesting. I suggest you guys read it. But how do you feel about Walter Hamada saying no more Snyder content after the Snyder Cut is released?
I really think Walter Hamada is going to eat those words because I don't think
Absolutely.
that that's true. Uh, if Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out and it's a big, massive thing for that service, which is struggling,
Mm-hmm.
it's not really looking like Wonder Woman was the thing to save them. It's not looking like their HBO Max coming to streaming as well is the thing that saved them. We'll see soon with the numbers that come out late January in about a week from now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about 2 weeks from now. We'll see then, but it's looking like they're still not bouncing back the way that they thought they would. So
Right.
they might say that, but money talks, and
Absolutely.
that's what got the film made in the first place, completed.
Mm-hmm.
That's what got it out there. So you're telling me that it ends with a cliffhanger, which we know it does, but they're not going to continue with it. Like Kevin Smith has said that he knows what Zach has done at the very end, and that you can't not continue with it. Like
Right.
I want it to be in cinemas if it can, but that's obviously a different whole thing altogether. That's
Mm-hmm.
completely divided now. He's with AT&T. The Snyderverse was brought about through AT&T and Warner Media more than Warner Brothers. So we'll take it on the small screen if we can get it. So Zack Snyder's Justice League, I think it will be vague. I think it will be a hit, and I think he will eat those birds.
Absolutely. I've said it before and I'll say it again right now. I don't have HBO Max. Right now, I am waiting for the month of March when the Snyder Cut drops because I want it to feed their algorithm. And I've already told my wife, I was like, if we are not watching a movie with our kids, I'm going to be watching the Snyder Cut. And I'm just going to watch it over and over as many times as I can in the month of March because I just want them to make more Snyder Cut content. I really want, and we'll talk about it with the wish list, but there's certain movies that I want in that world. And
Yeah.
if you don't give it to me, I'll cancel my subscription if you aren't giving me what I want. I mean, they have a lot of really cool stuff that I want to see on there, but if you're not giving me what I want, I have
Yeah.
no problem. And like you said, cash is king. So, I'm a blue collar kind of person. I have to go to a 9 to 5 to earn my money, and I'm not going to be spending it on crap I don't want. So
Can't fault you for that.
yeah. So, all right. So now we're going to move on to the DC movies that are coming out in 2020 and I believe through 2023. I'm not sure. I don't remember when they said Black Adam was going to come out.
It does not have a release date yet, but that's because it was really awkward where it was, and then more stuff moved to where it was. So now they just need to reposition it. They're
Right on.
filming in about 2 months, so it will be released within the next year and a half.
Right on. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about is the first movie coming out, and that is the Suicide Squad. So first, overall, what are your thoughts about the Suicide Squad?
I'm very excited. I'm a big Harley Quinn fan. As you can see, Birds of Prey's up there.
Right
Uh,
on.
just a big Harley fan. Definitely one of the things that got me into DC as well was Harley Quinn. She's a great character, and I'm excited to see what James Gunn does with her. I love Margot Robbie just as an actress.
Right on.
She's so
Yeah, I
great.
agree.
And the Suicide Squad's such a great concept. I think this will be a really fun film. I loved what we saw at Fandom. I thought it looked really good.
Yeah, I agree. Also there too. Yeah, I agree. I think overall it looks good. I know there's been some spoilers of like who the villain is. I won't spoil it here, but if you guys want to look, you can look it up online. It's not that hard. But I think it'll be also interesting to see how James Gunn plays with these characters. Even and there's a lot of them, which I want to ask you real quick. What do you think about the squad in general? Like there, how many characters are in there, and the characters that he chose to put in there?
A lot of red shirts, a lot of people who are gonna die, and I love
For
that.
sure. For
Um,
sure.
like the ideal Suicide Squad, you would have Deathstroke, you would have Black Manta, you would maybe even have Ivy, but you don't necessarily need it. But you go and you get more recognizable characters. But you can do that later on if you have a really good first film where you just kill everyone.
Right on.
Well, kill most people. Like you can Vigilante, Ratcatcher, King Shark. I think those are maybe safe. Maybe not King Shark. Um, I
Oh, I hope
think
so. I love King Shark. I hope they keep him around for at least one more.
so do I. And he looks so cool. The
He does
CGI
look very
design.
cool.
I loved. What's is it? Ferret or something? The stupid
Yeah,
little
yeah, yeah. Oh, Weasel.
weasel.
Yeah,
He looks awesome.
he does look awesome.
I think Ratcatcher, Harley Quinn are safe. I don't think anyone else is. And I love the current. I don't really know any of the characters, but I love that they're gonna die, and I'm looking
Right
forward
on.
to that.
Yeah, I think that was a lot of people complained about that first movie is that, only like one or two, and they killed off Diablo, which I thought was one of the super coolest characters. I was like, oh, you kill him off, but you saved, I'm trying to think of the rest of them. You saved the Croc. I mean, like Croc is cool, but he's all right in that movie. Um, yeah, I think that we're
Yeah,
both excited about that movie. So now I want
I
to
can't
move
wait.
on to the Batman.
Mm.
First off, I want to ask you about you okay, well, first off, what do you think about this movie overall?
I just really hate that DC keeps dividing up its fan base, um, like with different versions of different characters. I'll get to it with the Flash as well. I have a really big problem with the. I love the idea of trying to reset the DCEU, but I don't like the way that they're doing it. Um, and I think the Batman just being completely on its own, I think yes, it will be a good film, but then how much of a shelf life does this have? Like it can't go on forever if it's not going to tie in with more DC characters. I don't want another Superman. We've had so many. I would like Henry Cavill to be Superman for 10 years, please. Like I
Right.
want this to be DC for a while. And I love Ben Affleck's Batman. He's my favorite Batman, but if you're moving on, you're moving on. And so have this be a part of the regular DCU.
I
I don't
agree.
like that it's divided. However, with the way it looks incredible. It looks really good. I'm a big fan of Seven, and you can definitely see the way those two films are connected. I
Right
think
on.
it's very clever. I just think that the trailer was good. I love Robert Pattinson. Tenet was amazing. He was
Yeah,
so
I
good in it too.
yeah, I agree with you. I think that like you said, if Ben Affleck wants to move on, let him move on. But Robert Pattinson should just be Batman. And this can be a prequel
Hmm.
to the DCEU Batman. Just, just and then just have Robert Pattinson, play older Bruce Wayne and just be like, hey, that's how it is sometimes. You just sometimes you have to recast and
Hmm.
shit happens. Speaking of casting, I wanted to ask you about the cast. How do you feel about the cast? Do you feel it's strong?
Initially, I didn't think it was strong because I thought they had better options for every version of character they cast. I think like Jonah Hill is the perfect Penguin.
I
If
agree.
you've
That's
seen War Dogs, have you seen War Dogs?
I have, yeah, yeah.
He
He did,
basically played the Penguin in that film.
yeah, he does a good job.
Mm. He
When he's
was,
not
I
doing
thought,
comedy, like he does good with comedies, but I feel like when he does more dramatic stuff, he also does a really good job. So,
yeah, he's a great actor, and even in War Dogs specifically, he basically played the Penguin, and it was a great Penguin.
right on. I do think Colin Farrell looks really good though. I know he doesn't look
Mm.
his normal hot self, but I think he's a really good actor too. So I'm very curious to see what he does there.
He is, but he's less of a box office draw. But I don't think this film will
Mm,
struggle with that. It's the Batman, so
for
it doesn't
sure.
really need it. So you can afford to kind of swap out like for a very good actor in that case. When it comes to Zoe Kravitz, I initially wasn't happy because I thought every other actress they had was better than her. Ella
I
Balinska,
agree.
Ella Balinska, you had Isaac Gonzalez and Anna de Armas. All were phenomenal choices for Catwoman.
Hmm.
I did not like initially Zoe Kravitz. I thought it was very boring. But then I actually saw her on set and I was actually very happy. I thought she looked really cool. And her haircut as well is awesome. The
Her haircut does look. I have to tell you, I'm still not excited about Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. I mean, I can change my mind when I see it, but I mean, like, so what? She looks great. So what? She looks great all the time. She's hot, but that doesn't mean you're gonna be like. Like every time somebody mentions like, oh, Zoe Kravitz was perfect for this, I just go, yeah. What other movie do you remember where she stood out and you were all like, give me more Zoe Kravitz in that movie? Yeah, none of them. I'm like, so stop it. So, but the rest of the cast, I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. And Zoe Kravitz, like I said, I'm not trying to diss on her. I will totally be fine I'm kind of fine with her as Catwoman. She, like you said, there I feel that every other woman on that list was a better option.
I
So
did think that, but I will say I have actually changed over time, and I am happy with her.
right
Um,
on.
Again, I haven't seen her performance, and like who am I to judge? I think she'll be. I think she could be great.
Right on. Well, you're Ben. You can judge all you want. We all judge. The last question for the Batman: how do you feel about it being set on Earth 2? Which I will ask you about the multiverse later, but how do you feel about
Mm.
this movie being set on Earth 2? You kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but if you could just reiterate your thoughts on that.
If other movies are set on Earth 2 as well, then sure. Like Joker, could that be an Earth 2 film as well? Like, really does fit. It kind of does look like it fits, you know?
I agree. I agree 100% with that.
Mm. I hate having these one-offs where you can't continue because the one-offs seem to nail it more than the cinematic universe films. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
think Wonder Woman 84, Shazam, not in my opinion, but Birds of Prey, all pretty much box office duds. Now Wonder Woman 84, there's the asterisks of the pandemic and stuff, but still box office duds that did not excite the fan base in any way, shape, or form. Birds of Prey, some of them have supporters, but like not billion
Right.
dollar picture worth of
Right.
supporters, you know.
Yep. And like
Um,
we said before, cash is king in Hollywood.
mm. So I wish that Joker, I would that could be the main, like that would be so interesting if that was the main branch of the DCEU. Uh, but it's not, and they started with this Snyderverse, which I love. I think it's the perfect way. It's really dark fantasy, which I love.
Right
Um,
on.
but then there's also the gritty realism that works too, you know. Uh, but I don't think this this cartoonish way of going about it. I think it works for maybe Shazam, even though I don't love the movie overall. I think it works for the character, but I don't think it works for Wonder Woman. And um, Goofy was good for Birds of Prey, but it also worked because that film had blood and guts. It was rated. It was for adults. Um, but to get back to the question of Earth 2, I am okay with it, but like I wish they keep shooting themselves in the foot.
Right
That's what they
on.
keep doing.
I agree. I agree. All right. So moving on to the Flash and Flashpoint.
Mm.
Um, Overall, how do you feel about this movie coming out? I have lots of thoughts about this movie, but you go ahead.
Well, first, look, if what they're saying about Ray Fisher is true, that's horrible.
Right.
With him, look, we don't know. He's come out and denied it, but then other people have doubled down. Some people are saying he's being recast. Some people saying that's not true. Some people saying it is. We don't really know. But the Flash overall, I think it's a good idea to try and reset the DCEU. I would rather a regular Flash film first, but whatever. We're not getting that. So I would be okay with it, but I wish they were making better decisions on how they're going about it. For example, why are you pulling Michael Keaton out of thin air? Robert Pattinson is quite literally being introduced in another film, and he is going to be very popular. So why are you not bringing him over from another Earth? I don't understand why they're doing that. And then if Ben Affleck is saying goodbye, cool. But then why are you bringing? It's just the whole Michael Keaton thing really throws me off. And then if you're not going to bring back Michelle Pfeiffer, why are you bothering? You know?
Yeah, and I read an article that said that there was a rumor that Danny DeVito would make a cameo in the Flashpoint movie as the Penguin, and I'm all like, "What? Didn't he die? Like, what's going on here?" You're
He
just,
did die.
I was
Michelle
like, "You're
Pfeiffer
just,
lived.
yeah." I'm just like, "You're just pulling characters out of even dead ones. Just be like, hey, make a cameo in our movie," and I'm all like, "I don't think you guys understand how it works. I mean,
Mm.
I just, yeah." And what Earth is Michael Keaton on? Like, if Pattinson is on Earth 2, is Earth 3 the the Michael Keaton Batman verse? It's very weird. And
Mm.
the writer on this now, people have said that there are different writers working on this, that it's constantly
Mm.
going through rewrites. But Christina Hodson is the one, I guess, who started it. And I have to be honest, I don't trust Christina Hodson. I don't like any of her movies. I mean, she's just, I feel like she's very mediocre with her writing. I don't think that it's anything special, and I just don't trust her with a movie of this size. Maybe that's why they're doing so many rewrites, but I don't think I just don't think that she's up for this task.
Well, I'll say this: I am a fan of both of the films that she's written. I love Birds of Prey, and I really like
Mm,
Bumblebee. But
really?
when those
Okay. Go
yeah,
ahead.
but when those films came out, they were the lowest grossing films in their franchise.
Mm-hmm.
She wrote a Transformers film and a Harley Quinn DC film. That's not good if you manage to have those films make less money.
Mm,
That's not good. So clearly something doesn't work. And I
right.
think a lack of knowledge of the source material is definitely something that continues to haunt DC because they really don't know what they're doing
Right.
unless they trust one person on one project alone. And I'm talking like Joker and I'm talking the Batman. They seem to
Right.
really understand what they're doing there. But Christina Hodson doesn't. I am a fan of the films she's made, but I think for the Flash, for this type of film, you needed to really expertly do it properly. And I'm not. Again, I need to see more, but I think the broad strokes that we know, I don't like.
Right. I agree. I agree. It's
Mm,
just it's a big mess, but at the same time, there's a lot of script doctors out there, so they might turn
mm.
this coal into a diamond, even though
Maybe.
that's not how it works. You can't turn coal into a diamond. I found that out. So that's not science. So, but all right, so moving on to Aquaman 2. I just want to say real quick, I'm excited for Aquaman 2. Aquaman is my favorite DC character, always has been, always gotten crap for it since I was like little and everything, but he is the best. He is my favorite. So I loved Aquaman 1, highest grossing DCEU film. Just want to throw that out there to all you
It is
haters out
indeed.
there, mostly my brother. And I'm excited for number 2. I can't wait.
Mm. So am I. I mean, why not? Bring it on. I love the first one. There's some it's a bit long. You probably didn't need everything in it, but overall, it's
We
visually, it's a
needed more.
masterpiece.
You're right. We needed more.
It's a visual masterpiece. Score's great. Everything about it is pretty much perfect. So just do it again.
Right on. I
But you
love
can
that. Go ahead, finish your thought.
you
I don't
can
want to
change some
interrupt you.
stuff, definitely. That's all I was gonna say. But just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a good job.
Yeah, I love that Zack Snyder cast Jason Momoa because, like I
Mm.
said, ever since I was little, I've been getting so much crap for Aquaman. I'm all like, you guys don't understand how cool Aquaman is and everything. And they're just like, oh, Aquaman's stupid. He rides sea turtles. I was like, that was in a cartoon in like the 70s. Calm it down. You obviously don't read anything. And I love that he cast Jason Momoa because Jason Momoa gives off this like very tough, very badass like
Mm.
look, let alone a personality. And I thought
Yeah,
he brought a different type of style to Aquaman, and I
yeah.
love that. I just loved it. I love the tattoos. I love everything, and I'll be grateful to Zack Snyder for that forever and everything.
Mm.
Because now, anytime anybody's like Aquaman sucks, and I'll be like, oh, does this suck? Huh? You wouldn't say that to Jason Momoa's face and everything. So what do you think the story will be, because that's what I'm curious about, is what can they do to further along the story of Aquaman, because they shoved a lot into that first movie.
I genuinely have no idea. That's one of the biggest with Shazam 2, Aquaman 2, and not necessarily Black Adam, but kind of. I don't really have an idea because they're so far away. So everything has kind of been held back. But I would like it to be a better story than the first one because the first one, while very good, like really good, it was you could probably hear someone say, "I've seen that before," and I got bored. Um, sure, but at the same time, I was along for the ride. I freaking loved it. Um, so for Aquaman 2, I suppose just the one thing I would request would maybe be more action, but that's it.
Right on. Okay, so and then I will ask you really quickly, even though we might talk about it some more later, but I'll just ask you real quick, do you think they should recast Mira?
Here's my position on this. You
Mm-hmm.
have a case with three actors. You have Ezra Miller, who was seen on camera throwing a woman to the ground. You have Johnny Depp and Amber Heard with their civil court case and their very public divorce.
Right.
My position was you either keep all three in the roles that you have because it's the same studio, so they keep all three or they get rid of all three. I
I
think it's
agree.
unfair to have a double standard. I was happy to keep them all, not because I tolerate abuse, but because I think no situation is clear cut. I think
Mm-hmm.
there's gray areas in all three. Um, and I also think that they're all very good except for maybe Ezra Miller, but I'll see the Snyder Cut. But they're all very good at what they do with the roles that they have. So Johnny Depp's a great Grindelwald. Amber Heard was a great Mira. I loved
I
her. I thought
agree.
she was fantastic.
I agree.
However, Mads
I agree.
Mikkelsen has Mads Mikkelsen has taken his place. So I think it's really unfair to keep Amber Heard and Ezra Miller for that fact. So
Right on.
I think I just feel really bad for Johnny Depp because I think you shouldn't have hypocrisy at this high levels of Hollywood, especially now. You know, when they say they've learned their lesson, I think it's really ridiculous.
I
But that's how
agree.
I feel about it. She's a
I
great
agree
Mira.
100% with everything I agree with what you just said. I like to separate the art from the artist when it comes to movies because, even though, I don't agree with that Ezra Miller threw that woman to the ground, but at the same time, I do stuff in my personal life that is, some people might not agree with, but just because I freak out on somebody at the store doesn't mean I should be fired from my job, because that has nothing to do with my job. But I do I agree with you with what you just said. It is unfair to Johnny Depp that he got asked to step down. He got fired, but and Amber Heard just gets to willy-nilly and everything. So the next one we're going to talk about is Shazam: Fury of the Gods. How do you feel about this movie? I know we have very little knowledge about it, but how do you feel about it going forward?
But something interesting with the first Shazam movie was when I saw it in the cinemas twice, I freaking loved it. I thought it was a
Right.
perfect movie, perfect DC movie. But then I watched it at home, and for some reason, I thought it was really cartoonishly bad. I for some reason, just seeing it on the big screen, the visual effects did not come off as cheap as they are in the film. They came off really horrible when I watched them at home, like really, really bad. Like I couldn't get over how bad they were. It was a complete 180. Now I still think it's like a 6.5 out of 10. Good movie. So I'm excited for a sequel. I'm excited for it to continue. I like the title, Fury of the Gods. We'll see what they do to strike fear into the heart of the gods.
Yeah, I'm very. Go ahead. Sorry,
the Shazamily is all I'm saying. The Shazamily. What will they do next?
Yeah, I'm very curious with the Fury of the Gods title, because I'm like, who are the gods? Like, are they going off the, Wonder Woman gods, which I hope they bring those back at some point in time? Or are they going like new gods, like of some kind, not new gods as in dark side and everything, but, some kind of new gods. And then I'm like, which ones? And why are they mad? Why are these gods mad? What are they mad about and everything? So it'll be very interesting to see that play out. And like you said, we don't really know anything going forward, so it's not like we can talk too much about this one.
I'm excited for it though, because I think hopefully it gets a bigger budget and hopefully it makes more money.
I agree 100% on that. Okay, so for the last movie that we're going to talk about is Black Adam. So overall, how do you feel about this movie?
My only hope is that I hope it's more serious than some of the more recent DC films. I hope it's more like Wonder Woman and Aquaman rather than Wonder Woman 84 Shazam. I hope it's more in league with the first Wonder Woman, because I think that's the better tone. It's more serious. Now, maybe that's going to be felt with Snyder's absence. Maybe that was just him putting that in there as he should. But I really do hope that Black Adam can. I think Dwayne Johnson has good sensibilities, so I think maybe he'll tap into this and maybe he'll know. But I really hope Black Adam can kind of bounce back from the more silly cartoonish DC films we've been getting.
Right on. I agree. I'm not a huge Dwayne Johnson fan when it comes to I mean, he's all right, but in my honest opinion, I don't think he's like the best actor. But I'm willing to give him a chance. I mean, like, it's not like I hate him or anything like that. And he does what he does well. But like I said, I don't think he's just like the best actor. But what I want to ask you about this one is, how do you feel about the characters that they've chosen for this for the Justice League Society of America? Because we've got four. We've got Dr. Fate and Hawkman, and then for the newcomers, we've got Atom Smasher and Cyclone. How do you feel about that?
Well, first off, they've cast 3, haven't they? They haven't cast Black Adam. No, not Black Adam.
Dr. Fate.
Yeah, they haven't cast.
Yes, go ahead.
They haven't cast Dr. Fate, but they cast the other 3, and I love the other 3.
Right on.
The actors, I thought they're so. I've seen them in other things. Aldous Hodge was great in The Invisible Man, and What Women Want. He was good in that. One of the only good things in the movie. Noah Centineo, I think how you say his name, was good in that really stupid Netflix movie he was in. He
The
was
Boys
really
I
good
Loved
in it.
Before.
Yeah, he was great in that. And Quintessa, I think that's her name, but I can't think of her last name. I
Swindell.
apologize.
Quintessa
Swindell,
Swindell. Yeah.
phenomenal in Trinkets. That's such a good show.
I've never I don't think I've seen that show. I haven't seen that show. She was in Euphoria, I guess, but she didn't stand out because I don't remember her. And I was like, well, maybe I'll go back and watch it. And I was like, I got stuff to do. I don't have time to go back and rewatch that, even though that's a good show. I suggest watching it. But my problem is not with Quintessa Sindel. It's the problem with Cyclone. Who chose that character? Like, way to pick an obscure character that nobody cares about and just throw her in there. I'm like, out of all the characters you could pick, that's the one you chose. Where is Hawk Girl at? Like, come on, people. Like, think about this, please, please.
They said they have a story as to why Hawkgirl can't be in the film, and that
It's
they'll
not a
share that
good
with
one.
fans.
It's not a good enough one for me.
They probably something behind the scenes. Maybe someone else is using her, or maybe they want to save her for the modern timeline. I'm not 100% sure, but Quintessa, from what I've seen, could play Hawkgirl. She's a great actress.
Well, that's my only complaint is that they picked Cyclone. I'm just like, and again, it could turn out really, really great, this character, because the people are saying like airbender powers. But at the same time, I'm all like, when I watch Avatar, I think the airbenders are the lamest. So I'm like, I don't know how this is going to work out. But at the same time, I have the right to change my opinion. It could turn out really, really great. You never know.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to move on to the DC HBO Max movies. Now, during that article, Walter Hamada said that they want to put out 4 DC movies a year and they want to put out 2 riskier movies on HBO Max, which, it might be a good plan. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. That's a lot for every year to put out 4 movies and 2 or 6 movies total. It's just a lot. So the first one we're going to talk about is Batgirl, and the possibility of this being a Batgirl Beyond movie. And so I want to ask you, what are your first thoughts about that?
I think that a Batgirl film, her story, all for it. But I think do a Batgirl film after there's a firmly established Batman and Bat family. So a Batman and a Robin. I don't like this idea of just throwing these characters around, because you could do something amazing with them if you just planned properly.
Right.
So I think you just need to stop, wait, and plan.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that I don't think that first off, I don't like Batman Beyond. I never liked that show, but I'm not against a Batman Beyond movie. I would totally watch it, especially if, you can change my mind. Like maybe I'll love the movie and you'll make me go, okay, maybe I should go give this show a chance. And I didn't give it a good enough chance. But as far as a Batgirl Beyond movie, I don't know why. Nobody's asking for this. Now, one person said, hey, maybe we should take Batgirl and make her like a future Bat. It's so weird. It's a weird concept. I don't understand. And at the same, I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe I'm the weird one, but it's so out of left field.
I'd be very happy with a Batgirl film if they just didn't do this. Just do something else, please.
Right, yeah. And I'm like, Batgirl has so many good storylines and story arcs that you could do. Why this one? Like I said, why? It's so weird. It's so weird. Nobody was asking for this. Okay, so my next one is Static Shock. Michael B. Jordan is going to produce this movie, maybe be in it. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he won't be Static Shock. What do you think about this movie?
I'm not familiar with the character, so I can honestly take it or leave it. But here's the thing. I know he means a lot to a lot of people. And to call this a riskier project, I think is a very bad look. Just because you have failed in promoting Shazam and Birds of Prey properly so that they would actually make money, which they ended up not doing. Just because you failed doing that doesn't mean you need to kind of denigrate these characters to HBO Max status. I don't think that's fair at all. That's another thing. These are riskier films because a woman and a black guy is the lead. Is that what they're saying? Because that's kind of what it seems like. A member of the Bat family, and something that I can think could be as successful as Shazam. Like, you think of Shazam, what's like Static Shock and Shazam are pretty much, I'd say, on level with, like, people don't know who they are, you know.
Right
So
on.
I could see Static Shock making at least as much money as Shazam does, and that's even if it's not good.
I agree. I agree. Do you have any thoughts on who they should cast as Static Shock?
There, I would love to see an unknown actor get a good opportunity.
Right on.
Mm.
Okay. So now that we're done with the HBO Max movies, let's move on to the HBO Max shows. So the first one coming off as a spinoff to the Suicide Squad is Peacemaker, and that's starring John Cena as the Peacemaker. What are your thoughts about this show? Well, first off, how do you feel about them taking their movies and doing a spinoff show for their HBO Max streaming service?
We could have had Katana. We could have had many number of things. We want more Superman. We would like to have Black Canary, please. I might bring that up later, but we get Peacemaker.
Right on.
Just a bit confusing. However, I am happy if it works well with the film. I get that, but at the same time, it just goes to show a lack of planning overall from the DCEU, and they don't have their priorities in order. But I'm still excited.
I agree. I agree. So Peacemaker, how do you feel about this show?
I think it could be good. Yeah, I think it could be. Yeah, it's definitely going to be good because James Gunn is really happy and passionate about it.
I agree. I think that I think I like John Cena. I don't think he's the best actor. That's the thing about these wrestlers. Like, they're good, but they're not that great. I mean, like, I like Dave Bautista, but he's not the best actor on the planet. But at the same time, they do roles where I'm like, oh, he did a good job there. And everything. And so John Cena is the same way. And I think that this is up his alley. It's very comedic. It seems like it's very comedic. So I think it would be it's gonna be fun to see it. And plus like, who doesn't want more Suicide Squad content? Super fun.
Yes, exactly. I agree.
Okay, so the next one, Green Lantern. How do you feel about this show coming out?
I'm sad for two reasons. One, that Jeff Johns is still involved at DC.
Preach it.
He has proven himself to be incompetent and should not be involved with anything. However, Green Lantern is a strong suit, so he could deliver something good.
Absolutely.
But also that this isn't directly tied to, well, we don't know if it is or isn't. That's the big problem with DC. They announce a project and people are like, is this in the DCEU or is this in another universe or is this with Robert Pattinson's Batman or is it just its own thing altogether? All those questions are asked.
Right on. I agree with you, what you just said there. I think that I don't know if I'm excited for this show. I mean, I do like Green Lantern. I think he's a excellent character, and this is good for a show just because you can showcase all these different lanterns. I think that it'll be interesting. Like you said, Jeff Johns, he sounds like a monster, but at the same time, Darkest Night is so good. Like, I have all of them. It's a good series. So I mean, the guy can write a story when you give him the right characters. And I think that goes for a lot of comic book writers. But at the same time, this one is just so, like, we don't know that too much about it. So the next one is Gotham Central. How do you feel about this one? This will be connected to the Batman.
I love the show Gotham. So I'm kind of sad to see that just be rebranded. But I'm also kind of okay with it because, it's different.
Right on.
Like, it's a different universe, different actors, hopefully.
Yeah, I agree. The thing is, I didn't like Gotham. I mean, I liked Gotham up until episode 13, I think it was, of season 1. And then I was just like, all right, I'm out. This is craziness. My wife continued with it because she liked it, but I was like, no, I can't do this nonsense. But at the same time, I'm for this. I like seeing, I really hope Robert Pattinson makes little cameos in it. Because I like seeing smaller secondary characters, like, for instance, this Batman's in the Batman versus Superman. I really like that first scene where Bruce Wayne is driving / running through the city, and you got to see the fight with Superman. And if you put the scene side by side when he's shooting his laser beams through the building, it connects perfectly. I like seeing stuff like that from a different perspective. So I would love to see, I don't know if this is a prequel or like interwoven or whatnot, but I would love to see some kind of connection to the Batman movies, but yet you see it through the eyes of the Gotham City Police Department, and you get to see what they saw while, I don't know, the Joker was blowing something up or whatnot. So I think it'll be very interesting to see that.
Yeah, I agree.
Then the last one is Justice League Dark. How do you feel about this?
It's just there's too many projects, I think. Too many projects and not enough connection or direction. I do want a Justice League Dark show or film. I want these characters, but I want them when the universe is ready for them. I don't think they're ready right now. I think they still need to establish their Superman.
Right on.
So
that's a good point.
I would like it, but at the same time, I just wish that it was all just a bit more organized. But I'm ready to take whatever they want to give.
Do you I'm excited for this show just because I love Justice League Dark. I always love those comic books. I think they're really, really good. Even though, well, not all the time, but for the most part, I really enjoy them. I like magic, even though it's not real and everything, but I just like that whole I like the whole concept that there's a Justice League that deals with only magic and like magic threats, because Superman can't do it. One question that I have for you is, do you think there's a chance that they could bring back the Enchantress for this TV show?
I would love to see it, because
Right
that would
on.
say that there's direction and there's a connection between these projects. I would really like for that to happen, but I do think it's unlikely.
Right on. I agree with that. I do think it's unlikely, but I would like them to do it because when Justice League got rebooted or whatnot, the first story arc had to deal with the Enchantress like very heavily, and I really liked that story arc. So I'm all like, oh, they should just do that, but with in the movies though. And I liked Enchantress's look when she had the whole black haggard look, not when she turned into, like Moon Goddess or whatever she was there. I didn't like that look, but I liked the other one. So
I agree.
I hope that I hope they bring her back. If they don't, it's fine. I'll be fine with that, but I do hope they bring her back. So the next one I want to talk about is Mira. Now, this show has recently been said that it will be has been rumored, and then some people have said it's definitely, moving forward or whatever, that Mira, the TV show, is coming forward. And this is how they're going to minimize Amber Heard's role in the Aquaman 2 movie, and then how they will eventually just kind of push her off, and she's going to go off on her own little adventure in a TV show. How do you feel about this?
We've said what we've said about Amber Heard. We can't change that though. So
Right.
I suppose if they want Aquaman 2 to be successful, but they don't. But obviously, with that, people are very angry with Amber Heard. A lot of people are, and a lot of people have threatened to boycott it. So instead of outright getting rid of her, because I agree she is a good Mira, I think this is a good way to get around the problem. And I suppose I would like to see what Mira, an adventure with her by herself. I think that could be cool. So yeah, I'm for it. I think.
I'm for it too. I mean, like I said, we said before, I don't want her to be recast, but at the same time, it obviously is a situation, and you don't want to, get rid of half of your audience because money is, their money spends green everywhere, so you want them to spend it at your movie. So I think that this is the best option for them. Put her in her own TV show. Maybe it only lasts a season, and they're like, okay, Mira's still gone, you guys, from the movies and everything. So, so I think that is a good option. This is a good option on their part. So now that we've gone through all of the movies and projects in development, or projects on HBO Max, why don't we go ahead and talk about movies that are in development? So the first one I want to talk about is the Amazons movie. How do you feel about this?
No, that's
No.
how I feel about it.
Okay, and
Because
why?
I love the Amazon scene in Wonder Woman, but this seriously, an Amazon's movie before you have like what, like a second Superman movie if things go on the way they're going.
That's a
This is a
solid point.
this is a HBO Max show. Like at best, like even at that, this will not make money. I really don't think it will,
Well,
unless it
go ahead,
unless
finish
it's
your
like a
thought.
Captain Marvel and it really ties into another film, which I doubt they will do at DC now because they don't like doing that. Um, Amazon's, I think, belongs on HBO Max if it belongs anywhere.
that was exactly what I was gonna ask you. Would you be okay with them making this movie if this was one of their riskier movies and they put it on
Mm,
HBO Max? You would be okay with
mm.
it then?
Yeah, definitely.
Right on. I personally, I listen. I'm not against this movie because I love all the Amazon scenes. Like Wonder
Mm,
Woman 1984, that opening scene is my favorite one. It makes no sense to put it in there except for to do that one line that she says and everything, and then she
mm.
repeats it later on in the movie. And I'm all like, okay, you did a whole 10-minute scene to repeat one line from it. That's cool. Whatever. It's your movie. But at the same time, I go, that was my favorite scene. I love that scene. I really liked it a lot. We could spend a whole movie on Themyscira, and I'd be cool with it and everything, especially if they're just hopping around and everything and riding horses and all that good stuff. So I'm excited for it. And I really hope that they bring back a lot of the actors and like athletes that they had in the first movie. That was something that I had a problem with in the second movie is, well, they did bring on some, there was a, oh gosh, what is her name? I can't remember her name off the top of my head that she was in the movie, but I really like seeing them use actual, like they use police officers, they used, Olympians and stuff. And I really hope they bring, and some of them that I really hope they bring back is Ann Wolf, Anne Ogambo. Oh, I don't know how to say that. Dudson Cross. I don't know how to say her name. And then Brooke, Enser, I don't know. Anyways, they were all in it. People got some crazy names and everything, but they were all in it. And I just remember them specifically in the movie. So I'm all like, why wouldn't you bring them back? They were
Mm.
great. I mean, Anne Wolf, she didn't have any lines or whatever, and neither did the Brooke Enser. I scribbled down her name. So, but I thought they were super fun, and I would love to see those women get an opportunity to shine again, and possibly even shine more than they got to before.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can see it for that way, and I do like being on Themyscira. It is a cool place.
Yeah, very cool. So then what I would like to see with that show though is because like if you ever watch these movies, and this is a problem they have, they don't connect the movies, but like we need a map of Themyscira because it's like you got the main city from Wonder Woman, and then you got that little hub holding the mother box, and then you've got this arena, which is where is that on that island? How big is this island? Because it's only so big, and I mean, is it the size of Hawaii or one of the islands in Hawaii? And or is it just like 2 miles wide? Like how big is this island? Like we need to set up parameters here. um
I
so
agree. Yeah.
so speaking of Amazons, the next one I want to talk about in development is Wonder Woman 3. Now you said you had some thoughts about this. I'm just going to let you go ahead and tell me those thoughts.
For me, I think you can do so much with Wonder Woman. The
Absolutely.
best we've seen this Wonder Woman is when Zack Snyder has had his full-on influence. Now, I'm not saying Zack Snyder should direct the film, but I really don't think Patty Jenkins should direct Wonder Woman 3.
Or
That's just
write it.
my opinion. I understand people disagree with me. I think there should be a new team. If you messed up that sequel, which you were pretty much handed a golden opportunity and you still messed it up, like
Right.
I don't have time to give you another chance. I want it to be done perfectly the next time,
Right.
Well, or not perfectly, but just better. And I don't
Right.
trust her to do it better.
I
So
agree.
new team, please. But again, don't give up on Wonder Woman. She's a great character.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. I think that she is a great character. Patty Jenkins should not write that movie. It's very clear that writing is not her strong suit.
Mm.
I think that that the team that they had writing that movie, obviously, nobody told them no. They were just like, oh, an invisible jet, yes. Oh, you want to do lassoing whatever you want, yes. Randomness, yes. A guy spinning on a little wheel in a mall, go ahead and do it. And you're all like, what is going on here? I'm like, it's
Alan
Cirque du Soleil.
Heinberg's influence. He was a screenwriter in the first film. His influence was greatly missed.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Also, and I said it before, I really want them to bring back the gods, the Greek gods, because I think that
Yes.
in the comic books, it's like overarching. And this is another way you connect this stuff in the DCEU is you have these Greek gods. And in the comic books at one point in time, I believe it was in the New 52. I don't know. I have to pull them all out, but I believe they tried to set up the new gods as aliens They were like a race of aliens, kind of like they did with Thor in the Marvel universe. Like they're not actual gods. They're just aliens from a different realm or whatever, or planet or whatever they are. So I think they should set them up in they should have them bring them back and set them up in some sort of way where they can have kind of some influence, because you got Wonder Woman with Zeus, Poseidon with Aquaman, and then I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but you just have all these connections. And I know DC doesn't want to do this, but I think that connecting it in every movie in some way, shape, or form, even with a post-credit scene, is the best option for your franchise.
I agree.
And Wonder Woman, I have plenty of thoughts on Wonder Woman 3. I just think that that's for a different time, because I'm wasting so much of yours.
Oh, you're fine.
So the last movie that is in development that I want to talk to you about is J.J. Abrams' Superman. How do you feel about this?
If it's not Man of Steel 2, you're wasting your time. Unless it's like, what, Robert Pattinson Superman? If it's not Henry Cavill, you are wasting your time.
Absolutely.
Truly. Because you will just be rejected. Like the way I would say the way Birds of Prey and Shazam were kind of rejected. Shazam wasn't really, but I would expect, like, if it's not Henry Cavill, I would see the core DC fan base just rejecting it so much. It would probably do less than Justice League in theaters. I think it would be really hated if you got rid of Henry Cavill.
I agree with that. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know how difficult he is on set or whatever's going on there, but I mean, like, talent is talent, and you just, just sit down and be like, what can we do to work with you on this? I mean, I just don't understand why why we can't be adults in this situation and just, figure something out. Because I mean, Henry Cavill wants to be Superman. So why isn't he doing all he can to try to work with these people and just be like, all right, fine, you give a little, I'll give a little, and we'll meet in the middle and hopefully we can work it out, kind of thing. I don't personally like JJ Abrams. I think that I don't like him. I don't think that he's good. I mean, he's very mediocre as a director. I don't like him as a writer. I honestly think he just copies a lot of people when it comes to his work. I think that he sets up too many MacGuffins in his movies and that lead nowhere. I have a problem with movies that set up certain things and then you don't explain them. That's bad writing, in my opinion. I mean, you can set something up and save it for a sequel, but not everything. And some stuff isn't even set up for a sequel. It's just he just throws it in there, and you're all like, "Where did this come from? What is that? What is going on here?" Also, he is not writing this movie, thank God. I guess he's looking for a writer, because I don't know if you read it, but I read it. I actually have it somewhere around here. But the script for Superman Flyby, and I read that movie, and it sucks. I didn't like it at all. I was all like, if this was his movie that he put out there, I would definitely not enjoy this. I don't care who's playing Superman, but at the same time, I just go, I am prepared to change my mind if it's good. So yeah, hopefully it turns out good. Do you like JJ Abrams?
No, I hate him.
Okay.
I think The Force Awakens is bad. The Rise of Skywalker is even worse. It's horrible. So is Star Trek. I just don't like it. Mission Impossible 3 is a big ass mess. Like, it's just bad.
Yeah.
I don't like JJ Abrams.
Yeah, it's like he has all these ideas, and it's like, your ideas are not bad. It's just, I don't think you know how to collect them all and then put them in a way that people, get what you're trying to say here. And it's very messy. And like I said before, I think he copies a lot of people and doesn't do it as good as they did. Yeah. I know it's just a time to shit all over JJ Abrams, but I'm fine with it. All right. So now I want to just ask you a couple more questions, and then I want to get to our wish list. So my first question for you, going forward, how do you feel about the multiverse plan with the DCEU?
I don't think it's a good way to explain everything away. I think it should be a good thing to bring everything together.
I agree with that. That's actually a good thought. I
just hate to...
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ramble on, so go ahead.
No, I just think that, in the comic books, to reset everything, they had the Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it just brought everything into one Earth. And if you're gonna do that, that's cool. But if you're just gonna have this weird nonsense, just like there's all these different Earths, and it's like, all right, I guess I'll go with this. But if it's not written well, it's just gonna be it's just gonna be another thing for people that don't like DC to complain about. And that's what's really gonna bother me, is because, like, listen, because sometimes I just gonna be like, listen, fuckers, DC fans have enough to deal with as it is, and you're gonna throw this on our plate. Now we have to defend this. Get the fuck out of here. Gosh, sorry I swore at you, but I get so
I agree.
annoyed.
I really agree, 100%.
Yeah, it's so obnoxious. It's like, listen, I spent my whole life defending Aquaman. Now I have to defend this? Like, come on, work with me, okay? I'm gonna give you my money, all right? Just help me, help you. So, all right. So my next question: should they reboot the DCEU, in your opinion?
No, I think they need to build with what they have.
I agree.
Because, I mean, you have Margot Robbie, Oscar-nominated actress, will be an Oscar-winning actress at some point. You have Henry Cavill, you've Gal Gadot. They're all very popular. We shouldn't get rid of them.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. Yeah, I don't think they should reboot it either. I think that, they have such a solid base, and it's like they just I don't know what they're doing. It's like I don't know. Like they put down a good foundation, and then they're just like, they're slacking off on building it. They don't want to build a house. They just, like, they have half a house built, and they're all like, what are you guys going to do with this? And they're all like, well, I don't know. John's coming over. He's thinking about building the roof. Well, Dave hasn't built the walls yet. So
Yeah, exactly.
maybe you guys should get on that first. How do you feel about Walter Hamada's 4-movie theatrically and 2 HBO riskier movies on HBO hit that plan? What do you think about that plan?
I think a DC film should be an event. I don't think you should put a film on streaming like that. I think streaming should be for TV shows that tie into the films, and then the film should be for, the big screen.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I think that, and I hate to compare, but I think Marvel is doing it right with their DC streaming service, having these TV shows that will further along the story and connect the story. Yeah, I don't, yeah, it's so, I mean, but hey, it could work. I mean, you never know. So how do you feel about J.J. Abrams taking over a more leadership role in the development of the DCEU?
Bad idea. Because we just talked about it. We don't like JJ. He's poison.
I agree. Ugh, he's so Bad Robot is bad. It's a bad robot because it's just, and we just talked about it. We just rambled on for a hot minute, but again, this is just more fodder for non-DC fans. My last question for you is the DCEU broken? Can it be fixed? And how do you think they should fix it?
I think it is broken. You can see that from the box office. It's broken. I think it can be fixed with a unified vision, and I think the best way to do that is with Zack Snyder's ideas.
I agree.
His films excite the fandom, and also I think have been the most commercially successful, because he did Batman v Superman, and Aquaman was very much his influence because he cast the guy who played Aquaman. So I think his way is the way forward for DC if they want to not die.
I agree with that. I think his darker approach is what DC fans want. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do enjoy the Marvel movies, but I just go, that's great, but I do like the darker, more gritty approach to it.
Yeah, I like it too. I used to not like Man of Steel. I just think it's a bit boring at the end. The action goes on for a bit too long for me. So I kind of lose myself in it. I'm more of a Batman v Superman person than a Man of Steel person, but I still like Man of Steel.
Okay, right on. We're opposite on that. I like Man of Steel better than Batman v
Ah,
Superman, but and I feel like Batman v Superman went on a little too long. I was like, at the end, I was like, oh gosh, come on,
yeah.
kill him already. So yeah. All right. So now we're gonna move on to our wish list, our DCEU wish list. Oh, you go first? You go first. I'm
Okay,
excited to
well,
see. I'm excited to see to hear you what you have on your list, and I'm excited to see if we have any of the same stuff.
for me,
Hmm.
I'm excited too. But for me, I think one of the biggest things that they need to do would be to give Journey Smollett Bell a Black Canary HBO Max show with Mary
Absolutely.
Elizabeth Winstead cameoing in some
Absolutely.
fashion.
Absolutely. I didn't have that on my list, but I agree with you 100%.
They were very good in the film. They were probably everyone's favorite part.
Mm,
Even if they didn't like the movie, they were very much the standout. So Black Canary on HBO Max, I think, should be something that they should put at the top of their list because people do want it.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Next is a long shot, and I think it depends on how well the Suicide Squad does, but that's Gotham City Sirens.
I have that on my list too.
It's just printing money if you really think about it.
Absolutely.
Birds of Prey was what? Who knows who Black Canary and Huntress are? People know who Catwoman and Poison Ivy are. That would make a lot of money. I think that would be very good. Not just for like the brand. I think it would be good for the brand because they would have finally Poison Ivy on screen, and they would finally have a like a Catwoman with Harley Quinn. They would have this really good movie as well. That well, I'm assuming it'll be good, but a film that I think people would like even if it was bad. Like I think it would
Hmm.
be critic proof in a way. So
Right on.
that's yeah. The next three are kind of just the Batman two, just because I wanted to see that continue. Because I
With
assume it will be
Batflack, the
very good.
Batflack.
Oh no, Robert Pattinson.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Batman too. Yeah.
Mm. So that's just like an obvious one. But the other two I want is just a Snyderverse film or TV show. So like Ben Affleck's Batman, that film or that TV show. You could do anything in that universe and I'd be happy. And then also Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 is something I
I
would
have
like
that
to
on
see.
my list too. I have Gotham City Sirens right underneath the Justice League. Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 is my first one on the list.
Mm.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I want to see what he does to Darkseid. I mean, like, come
Oh
on.
yeah,
Yeah. Like that's why you make Justice League #1 so you can have the fight of the century and everything.
exactly.
So yeah, I also had Gotham City Sirens. Um if they don't have Zoe Kravitz somehow mixed into there, I want to see who they cast as Catwoman. Um, I'm really hoping for an Asian woman. I don't think they're represented
Mm.
really all that well, but what do I know? Um, I had Batflack underneath those two. I want to see what Ben Affleck wanted to do with that movie.
Mm.
There was the rumor about um having the Court of Owls. Some people don't like the Court of Owls. I actually thought they were cool. I thought they were like a Sauron to like a Saruman. Like you have like the penguin be the bad guy, but he's being led by this group of rich people and everything. I just thought there was a lot of like commentary behind the scenes with that idea, and I really wanted to see how that played out.
Mm.
Then I want to see a Joker too. I have that on my
Yes.
list. I really like that first Joker movie. I thought it was really good. Joaquin Phoenix did such a great job. I really would love to see what they have in mind for a second one. And then for my last one, now this one's kind of a weird one, but I kind of want to see it. I would like to see an ethnic Super Friends with characters like oh gosh, I'm trying to think. Like Samurai and Black Vulcan and hold on, let me just think. What was his name? Apache Chief. That'd be great and
I
everything.
don't know them. I've never
But
heard of them before.
it's like 70s or whatever. They had these like what was the one? Oh, is El Durando or something like that. And they're like these random superheroes, but they're so cool in my mind. Like I'm old, so I like remember watching these and I was like, oh, that Apache Chief can get all big like Giganta. So I'm all like, he could be like, yeah, you want to go Giganta? Yeah, no, I just I think that would be it would be fun. It's so random, but I just as soon as I was like, well, what did I watch as a kid that I absolutely loved? And that was one of them for sure. So, do you have any more thoughts about the DCEU and everything that you want to say right now?
Right now, it's just if you can, do your best and watch Zack Snyder's Justice League as many times as you can.
Yes, do it. Do it. Don't even think
I know
about
I
it.
will. Hmm.
Oh, I will for sure. I cannot wait. I'm excited. Watch the Snyder Cut and continue Snyder content. That's what we want. We're clamoring for
Yes.
it. Um, is there anything else you wanted to say, Ben?
That's pretty much it. Yeah. What about you?
Oh, I just want to say, you guys, listen to Ben on the Council podcast. I think his opinions are really great. He's super fun. He's a fun guy. Do you want to give out your social medias?
It's on Twitter and Instagram. I think it's at Czech Film Fan. That's it.
Right on. Yeah, check him
Yeah.
out on Twitter. He's great on there too, and everything. If you guys, go ahead and leave your comments down below. Tell us what you guys think about the DCEU. What's your favorite movie? What movie you're looking forward to the most? Any comments you have about the DCEU, go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. You know, I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next video. You guys have a good day. Bye.
Bye.